Well, hello again everyone and welcome to Invictus Racing League. Our PS4 F3 League have made their way to Zandvoort here in Netherlands for the Dutch Grand Prix. In the commentary box, as always, your favourite duo, myself, Ryan, and our reigning PS4 F2 Drivers Champion, Jakob. How you doing, Jakob?
I'm doing very well tonight. Looking forward to round 3, which will be Zandvoort. We just done it on the F1 League and F2 League on the Xbox and PS4, and just looking forward to the new track for the calendar and for the league, and looking forward to the weather maybe playing a bit part in strategy tonight.
Yeah, similar situation to last week in Austria. Saw some wet weather qualifying and a bit of dry weather in the race, so Zandvoort expected to produce something similar. Back-to-back short circuits as well from the Red Bull Ring here to Zandvoort. It's another 36 laps, and again, not much more than a minute apiece. Like we said, weather's played a big part so far this week across both Xbox and PlayStation 4. Although this is a bit more of a technical circuit than Austria with 14 turns, 2 DRS zones, it is a very, very difficult circuit to overtake at. Biggest opportunity will come down into turn 1, also known as Tarzan, for really whoever's bravest on the brake pedal. Curb's very tricky to tackle tonight here in Holland, so 4.3 kilometre circuit. It was actually last featured on the F1 calendar in 1985, Jacob, which saw Niki Lauda take victory from 10th on the grid, so hopefully we can see some exciting racing similar to that tonight.
Yeah, definitely. As you said, can be a tricky and a tough circuit at times, with cornering and almost a bit like Monaco and Hungary, in a way. Just the barriers being a bit further away from the track and more gravel traps, which definitely will penalize the drivers for going off track. So maybe we'll see a surprise podium for the qualifying, which will be very crucial here, as it will in Monaco and Hungary as well. So definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, it should be a good race, as we're just looking to get the last couple of drivers into the lobby and get the racing underway. We've obviously got a few drivers to keep an eye on tonight. Currently have Aaron J on back-to-back podiums. Victory last week in Austria sees him lead the championship by 6 points, and with that, together with his teammate Nick J Thompson, they also lead the constructors by 6 points to that of Delaney and Craig in the Red Bull. So some pretty strong showings for AlphaTauri, especially in qualifying. It didn't get on too great in the race at France, but certainly managed to turn it around for Austria. Both drivers find themselves towards the front of the grid for the majority of the evening, and Aaron managing to convert the best of it into a third place and a victory. So I'm sure he'll be looking to top that off tonight with a few other drivers looking hot on his heels. So just wait to get underway for the evening.
And yeah, as you said, the AlphaTauri guys doing very well in qualifying, and Aaron J definitely doing a good job in the race, with what we've seen Nick to be struggling a bit more in race conditions compared to the qualifying where he's been. I believe he qualified top 5 in both Austria and France, and then from the race he's either been very unlucky and had a couple of penalties here and there and struggled. So maybe he'll definitely be going for the podium tonight.
And as we see, tonight is the 74th F3 race here at Invictus Racing League, and the first ever at Zandvoort. So I'm sure the guys will have been putting plenty practice into the track, given that it is the first time it is featured on the F1 game. So as the drivers have now readied up, ready to commence and take to the track for qualifying, we'll see what the weather has in store for us. looking at your screens now, does look as if we are going to have at least a dry start to the qualifying session, which will be, well, I'm very interested to see it, because to tell you the truth, Jacob, we haven't really had the chance to compare the likes of our PS4 F3 division to that of the what you would call higher tiers. We got a bit of a shock last night in PS4 F2 with a couple of drivers in qualifying setting times that would have actually contended for pole position in PS4 F1. So I'm sure we could probably expect to see some low 1 minute 9s this evening from the guys in F3, but wouldn't surprise me if you've seen the odd one or two even dip into the 108s potentially. So have a little look to see who the first cars are out onto the track. Does look as if that of the racing point of the Hailstone.
And as we have a couple of Dutch guys racing here tonight, the likes of De Lange, I believe Jeffrey as well, and a couple of other guys, will be interesting to find out how what they might be, what their pace might be looking like at this track. As they are Dutch, you'd think that they would maybe put that 1 or 2 hours more into the track of their home country. So interesting, definitely. As the Red Bull obviously are looking strong for the constructors in second place, 6 points behind the AlphaTauri, so they'll definitely be hunting for some good points tonight.
It does seem as if our drivers aren't wasting any time with any other tyre. Pretty much everybody other than Jeffrey Henney has started their outlap with soft tyres. We are on board with the Hailstone, Jacob, just crossing the start finish line to start the first flying lap of Zandvoort.
Yeah, coming into turn 1 here, you'll want to be very tight to the curb. Avoid the curb on the exit as it's very hard and can spin you out. Stay tight as well. Then coming into the bank corner of turn 3, trying to get a good exit here. And Hailstone looks neat and tiny through the sector 1. Now just coming up to a bit of a straight with a couple of corners that's flat out. Then trying to fully send it into turn 7. Really nice purple sector, of course, as he's the first one on the timed lap. Now coming into the tricky part of the circuit, where very easy to get loads of understeers, but Hailstone doing very well there, keeping the car in one, and looks to be very competitive with the car, and seems to be enjoying himself on this lap. Definitely be looking for 1-9, maybe 1-9, yeah. As you get an exit on the last corners of turn 14, banked, opening the DRS on the start-finish straight and crossing the line, it will be a 1-9-3. So a very competitive lap and very good banker. We're definitely competitive, almost even in the F1 League, correct?
Yeah, pretty quick time by the looks of it, Jacob. Teammate of Johnny Elliott in the other racing point actually brought out yellow flags just into turn 4, potentially compromising a few drivers behind them's first flying laps of the evening. So Johnny Elliott on his PS4 F3 debut. So we see a few other drivers come to setting times, jump on board to see what else everybody has in store for us. Colin unfortunately invalidated his lap. Johnny Elliott is now going to be coming down to the start finish line, so I'm sure he might have backed off during that lap, and this will be his first flyer. So we'll stay on board with Johnny Elliott to see what the man on the debut has in store for us, as he is actually locking up slightly into turn 4, but gets on the power and slingshots himself out onto the technical section, try to carry as much speed as possible. A double downshift, triple downshift actually there. Brake board's already missing from a couple of corners, making these drivers' races a little bit more difficult, but yellow flags again through the start of sector 2. Might just be drivers getting out of the way. Johnny Elliott has actually managed to set a purple sector 2, but he's run well wide. Now down into the start of sector 3 and unfortunately invalidated that lap, so have a little look down the list and see what everybody else has in store. So it looks like Humberstone is going to be the next car. Jakob to cross the line at 1 minute 10.179, so
he's in the mix, definitely.
yeah, you can already see a bit of a trend here with a lot of the drivers setting their banker laps within a tenth or two of each other. And a man that is chasing constructors and has the potential to chase the Drivers' Championship as well. Delaney just starting his flying lap, maybe a little bit wider than you would want to be through Tarzan, turn 1 there. Carrying the most speed that we've probably seen so far through turn 3 and 4. Onto the power.
Using a lot of curb.
Yep. Quite a bit of understeer there from the man in the Red Bull, seeing it through both right-handers. And this is the real test of the driver's throttle control through the fast right and left of turn 10 and 11. It's a very awkward DRS zone in the run down to turn 12. Hooks up the curb nicely. Straightens the car up perfectly out to turn 13. Using every bit of the track that is available to him. Delaney looking pretty handy around this lap so far, Jakob. Wouldn't surprise me if we see him jump into the top 4 and break that 0.10 mark, but no. It looked tidy, but maybe wasn't as quick as what he would hope. It's a 10.5.
And I'm looking at Aaron now in 16 coming around his first banker lap, purple in sector 1 and 2. So this will be looks to be a competitive lap time. Just need to get a good exit on the last corner. He does get nice on the throttle, no understeer, no nothing. Get out of the exit and open the DRS in the straight. Loses the DRS a bit early, but 9-1. So he'll on pole with almost 2/10 down to Hailstone. That's a very good banker from Aaron, and he'll maybe even be looking to go into the 1/8.
Yeah, it certainly is a tremendous banker lap from last week's race winner, so I'm sure he'd be pretty happy with that one. It will really just allow him to open up the taps and push on for the remainder of qualifying, as Beck 9000 has unfortunately retired coming out of what looks like turn 13, so must have got a little bit throttle happy. That's unfortunate. A few drivers still to set laps here. Gareth Hall still sat in the pits with those medium tyres equipped. Wojtek comes across the line, takes 6th position. Closely followed by, was that Luke Bailey with a 109.5 as well to take 4th. Henny's immediately knocked him off with pretty much an identical time, and again Jakob just showing us how tight this IRL PS4 F3 grid really is. Not much separating that from 3rd place, even 2nd place, all the way down to 7th just now, so I'm sure it'll get even tighter as the guys start to feel a bit more comfortable in the coming
yet again it seems like it's not the hundreds or tenths, it's the almost the thousands splitting the drivers at some point, and obviously not everyone has set a competitive lap time yet, so it's, and as I said earlier, very crucial to get as far up the grid as possible on this track. It's very hard to overtake, so yeah, definitely the looks of Gareth and Adri will be looking to get a bit further up, and Adri actually getting a slipstream from Humbo to the start finish, but only manages a 10-0 in 10th place. I'm pretty sure he'll be disappointed with that, looking at his result from France and Austria, as he'll be wanting to get a bit further up the grid, but as we know, he likes to do his overtaking, and it wouldn't surprise me if he would find a way past all these people in the race with his alternative strategy as he lost.
Jump on board with a couple of drivers that are just starting hot laps. So I believe Nick J. Thompson is going to be your next driver to come across the start-finish line on a flying lap. So stay on board with the man in the AlphaTauri for now. Gareth Hall, one of the drivers yet to set a time, has eventually left the pits. On a set of mediums, Nick J. Thompson flagging up a purple sector 2 Jakob. It's looked pretty neat and tidy so far. Running just that tad wide through turn 14. Keeping it nice and tight to turn 15 as he short shifts up into 8. Keeping it nice and close to the pit wall. It's enough for 8. He's broke the 10 mark. Jump on
so
board
both
with
of the
Gareth
AlphaTauris
Hall.
in the top 10, but Nick will probably be looking to get a bit further up, a bit closer to his teammate who's on provisional pole at the moment.
Gareth Hall on those mediums, obviously trying to open up the strategy for himself. It's only quick enough for 16th, it's an 11.3, so not sure if he'll be happy with that one. Might need to scoot back round to the pits as quick as possible and get a set of fresh boots on.
Yeah, and luckily with this track it's a short track just like Austria, so you have pretty much all the time in the world to get around the track to get your last lap time in.
We're back on board with the Hailstone, the first man out on track. Looks to be the only one within close enough contention to R&J at the minute. Stay on board and see what the Hailstone can do. Now he has managed to improve his sector 1. 1.3, sorry, just over a tenth up, sorry. He's got a tenth and a half now, which if he manages to squeeze just that little bit more time out of sector 3, doesn't look as if he's carried anywhere near enough speed through turn 15. He should improve, but I don't think it's going to be enough to challenge the man in AlphaTauri. Within half a tenth now.
So close.
Jakob.
So close. They'll look to be the two fighting for the top spot in qualifying, but a few surprises might come here and there. And as I'm looking a bit down the grid, I'm seeing Luke in 5th place, and if I recall, I don't think he's qualified near the top in neither Austria or France, so good to see Luke back in the top 5 again, at least for now.
Craig potentially finding himself in unfamiliar territory as he's unfortunately invalidated. Coming out of the last turn, I'm sure he'll be kicking himself for that one because it was looking quick. Next driver, a driver that's managed to grace himself with quite a bit of screen time so far this season, Jakob. We're on board with Eshka in that McLaren, finds himself in many a battle on track throughout the race, so doesn't tend to start himself up anywhere near as much, near as far as he probably should, but certainly seems to come into his own throughout the race. So currently down in 16th, little lock up into turn 4, gets onto the power, not too bad. Hooking up this fast chicane section into the downhill blind right hander. See what he's got in store for us through sector 1.
As I'm just on board with Aaron J, who's 2.5 tenths up in his time through the first 2 sectors, so he'll be going into the 1.8 with a good sector 3, and so close, 109.022, so very close. He lost a bit of time on the last corner, but he was 2.5 tenths up with the first 2 sectors, so very good time for Aaron J, yet again showing that he definitely wants to challenge for the driver championship this season, and one of the favourites for sure.
We have just had confirmation as well, Jakob, that it is going to be a full dry race as well, so no surprises tonight. Reska's enough for 13th, unfortunately unable to break that 1:10 mark, but Luke Bailey, next car to come across the line, he's managed to improve to 4th position 9.5. It's a very good lap there from R&J. We were expecting low 9s from our guys here tonight, but I'm sure if he does manage to get himself round again, or even then if anybody can manage to steal it from him. Have a little look down the list and see. Wojciech potentially on a flying lap as he comes round the final sector, final corner. He is going to be sprinting towards the start finish line. It's enough to put him on the second row, a 109.2, a very good lap there from Wojciech. There are a few drivers, Jakob finding himself a bit further down than I'm sure everybody would expect, as Colin not enough time left in the session to get himself back round for another lap. We're back on board with Craig, who looks to be the next driver to just start his flying lap. Steel B in the Haas crossing the line now to start his, as well as Racing Point coming around the corner with Johnny Elliott. So we'll stay with Craig just now. Looks to be the first one to be coming round to complete his final flying lap. He is just under 4.5 tenths up, so managing to hook the lap up pretty nicely so far. Doing everything he can to make sure that he doesn't invalidate it out the last corner this time, but doing so he's going to have compromised quite a bit of speed. Might be enough to break into the top 10, but nope, just outside it, and it really just shows you how close the margins are. Next driver to come across the line is going to be Steel B, but unfortunately invalidated, and he is going to peel into the pits. That's going to do it for the man in the Haas tonight. It's Nick J. Thompson that's now going to be coming across the line to start his flying lap, with Gareth Hall closely following behind. Johnny Elliott crossing the line, unfortunately unable to improve. There's a few drivers cutting it a bit fine, might actually not make it round for their flying lap, but jump on board with Adriel Lockdock, because it does look as if he's going to be the final driver to come round and try and set this. Closely followed by Steel B's teammate Jeffrey Henney, who has peeled into the pit lane as well. So Matty also aborting, seems to be a common trend. Craig's obviously boxing. Humberstone's invalidated, no time left in the session for his next flying lap.
Yeah,
jump back on board.
Further back, the Lange has backed up, so the Red Bulls all the way down 14th and 16th. They'll definitely be disappointed with that qualifying, as it's very hard to overtake, and definitely not ideal for the Red Bull boys.
Aaron's pretty close to his qualifying time. He's almost breaking even. Let's see if he can improve enough in the final sector to try and snatch it into the 108. And he has, by less than half a tenth. So
what a
provisional pole just now. Kezer's going to be the next to come across the lap. He'll join his teammate on the second row. Delaney, as you said, has backed off. The only man that's looked close to challenging that of Aaron is the Hailstone, but the Hailstone aborting this lap also, and that is going to conclude the qualifying tonight for you guys. And pretty impressive lap there, to be honest, Jakob, from Aaron, showing us just how on form he is. 108.9, putting himself into the prime position to potentially go on and, I'm not going to say it, You're not going to give him the commentator's
Don't
curse.
jinx it. Don't. Yeah.
He'll definitely be one to watch, and that's all we'll say on the matter.
Yeah, what a lap by RNJ. Very, very impressive lap time there. Just showing us that he has put a lot of time in practicing this week for the new track on the calendar.
Yep, you've got from 5th all the way down to 11th, separated by less than half a second, but even looking at that, from 9th down to 13th, there's just over a 10th in it, so just showing you how fine a margin it is to get yourself into the sort of top 10 of the PS4 F3 League. I'm sure Aaron will be pretty happy with that one. I would be. Pretty sure that's bet both yours and my time from Monday night, Jacob, in PS4 F1. So
I think it is, yeah.
Truly is on the pace. Now, as you can see, all top 10 going to be starting on those soft tyres. Opens up a couple of different strategies for you. Pit window opening realistically between lap 10 and 12 to go onto the hards, but there are your race classifications, guys. R&J takes pole position with a 1 minute 8.963. Just over 2.5 tenths back is the Hailstone in second, joining him on the second row in the racing point. Wojtek and Keza make it a Ferrari lockout. Another good showing from the two guys in the Ferrari. Luke Bailey takes 5th place with a 109.5. Jeffrey Henney joins him on the third row in his Haas. We've got Beck 9000, Nick J. Thompson just in behind. Colin and Steele round out your top 10. A bit further back, we've got Matty, Adgelock, Doc, Reshka, Craig, Humblestone, Delaney, Johnny Elliott on his debut, and Gareth Hall in 18th position. So, as we were saying, pit window opening up between 10 and 12 for those soft runners to get themselves on a set of hards. For those outside the top 10 that do opt to start on the mediums, realistically between lap 15 and 18 onto a set of hards. Also, a 2-stop is feasible tonight, roughly 7 seconds slower than that of the soft to hard 1-stop. Traffic, however, will play a massive factor with how difficult it is to overtake around here. As we said, biggest opportunity coming into turn 1. Safety cars potential to upset or potentially save a lot of drivers also. We'll keep an eye on a few strategies coming into play a bit later on as the pit windows open, but we hope to see some good, clean, hard racing. Like we said, 36 laps. It's a lot of concentration with 14 corners. Curbs being crucially deadly. You'll be wanting to avoid the majority, if not all of them, at all costs. Drivers on the grid do look to select their race strategies, fill their cars with the correct amount of fuel. We will begin our formation lap just shortly. So I know we've got the usuals, Jacob, for who we like to watch and who's good to keep an eye on for some good battles, but is there anybody that you particularly have your eye on tonight for a strong finish?
I'm looking at the guy like Jeffrey Henney, who hasn't scored any points yet this season. He's been very unlucky and had a few spins here and there, which basically cost him his races. So he's in P6 at the moment. So very interesting to see where he finds his race pace tonight, and if he'll be getting some points to boost up his tally for this season.
It does seem a few of the last 2 weeks front runners and the likes of Adgelock, Doc and Craig, Matty as well, find themselves outside the top 10. And week 1 in France, race winner Steel B starting in 10th. Certainly livened up the championship slightly if they end up finishing down that way, but with the likes of Wojtek and Keza, the boys in the Ferrari. Wojtek obviously with one podium to his name from last week, finishing in second. I'm sure he'll be looking to build on that and chase down your championship leader in Aaron, but there's a few consistent points finishers. Luke Bailey finding himself within the points over the past 2 weeks, qualifying a little bit higher up this week, so I'm sure he'll be looking to turn that into something a bit more positive. Every driver obviously only looking to move forward in the race, but R&J leads your pack in the AlphaTauri. He's not got his teammate quite as close as what he has done in previous weeks from the start to help him out, but I'm sure with the pace of Nick J. Thompson, he'll be looking to fight his way through from 8th position. Good to see Bet 9000 a bit further up the grid from previous weeks as well. Unfortunately unable to pick up any points in the championship, as you said, but yeah, Jeffrey Henney in prime position also.
Yeah, Jeffrey doing well in the qualifying, and interestingly enough, Adri has gone on the hard tyres in P12, so if he manages to hold on to that position and maybe even gain a couple of places, his alternate strategy will be looking very good for the race, especially if there's no safety car or virtual safety cars. And we know he likes his overtakes, and his pace has been very good this season.
Yeah, pretty interesting that every driver outside of the top 10 has opted for that alternate strategy, so hopefully there are no early safety cars to upset everybody's plans, and it'll really open up towards the end of the race. But as drivers now pull up to the grid in sunny Zandvoort, get underway for your 36 laps worth of racing. 306 kilometres for full race distance. We're 153 here tonight with 50%. So wait for the lights to come on as they do. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 red lights. Held on for quite a little while, but the drivers are away. R&J looks as if he has managed to get quite a good start, but is it Wojtek and the Ferrari already managing to find himself up the outside of the racing
as
point?
Nick is around again.
Nick really not having much luck, especially at France where he found himself round from pole position. Does seem as if he's managed to get himself back up and rolling, and Aaron's already out to a bit of a lead, with the Hailstone finding himself with a bit of a gap as well. Ferrari's keeping close together as the predicted pit strategy pops up at the bottom of your screen there, but top 4 already fanned himself out slightly. Jeffrey Henney struggling to keep pace with that. The Ferrari's coming under a bit of pressure. It looks like Colin and Beck are having a bit of a battle already early on. Beck putting Colin under quite a bit of pressure. Jump on board with the battles that are happening as they go side by side again, and Beck 9000 over the curb getting a good old squeeze from Colin in the Merc.
As DeLange takes advantage of that and going around the outside of Matty all the way up in 9th, so DeLange gaining 7th position all the way down from 16th all the way up to 9th now on the alternate strategy on the medium, so I'm pretty sure he's the front guy. And Jeffrey, very unfortunately, he must have picked up damage pitting already, so that will probably be the end of his race if no safety car appears, unfortunately for him.
Yeah, that may have been your fault, Jacob. Commentator's curse, as always. Johnny Elliott finding himself in a right old bit of trouble on his debut. Andrew Lockdock and Reschka putting him under quite a bit of pressure. Managing to hold on to his own. Andrew Lockdock running wide, you don't want to do that around that fast right-hander. Find yourself all out of shape, but brings Reschka right onto the back bumper now of the racing point. Much tighter lines by the looks of it as well through turns 10 and 11, but bit of a chain forming here from 10th place backwards. Leaders all seem to have gotten away from everybody pretty lightly. Aaron transferring that qualifying pace. Johnny Elliott's went way wide and Reschka's managed to sneak through. Stay on board with this battle, as I'm sure they'll be looking to get a bit feisty down into turn 1. There's Reschka now. Already
pitting already on the hards.
Yep, potentially picking up a bit of damage there. Unfortunately, Reschka will inherit another
and
position,
Craig as well,
finding himself in 10th. A few drivers getting into a bit of trouble early on. We've already got the top 5 spread out pretty far, so
yeah, and all the way up in 5th place now. Right now we have Colin, who is another driver who hasn't scored any points this season, and I won't talk too much, as we know, I'll jinx it or the commentator curse will come into play. So, but good start from him, gaining 4 position on the opening 2.5 laps.
Steel B looks as if he's been taking some notes out of Valtteri Bottas's book, finds himself all over the grass, wiping out 2 sets of brake boards. Gareth Hall's going to waste no time in taking advantage of that. Steel B trying to hang it around the outside, but there's not much that you're going to be able to do there. Gareth has just opted to take the racing line and is already starting to bridge a bit of a gap from the Haas driver. So up to 13th from Gareth from last on the grid. I'm sure he'll continue to stampede forward as he now has his eyes set on Humberstone and that Williams a bit further ahead. 2 Ferraris off to a nice start. Jakob, pretty clean, pretty happy.
Yep. Kept their position in P3 and P4. Looks to be maybe even working together a bit for the constructors, obviously. Trying to push and tow each other on the straights and maybe save a bit of energy, as Kessa is all the way up in 95 to 100, and looks to be Wojtek abusing his ERS at the moment. So maybe some strategy going into play from Ferrari already, as they are a bit behind Hailstone, about 2 seconds, and Hailstone finding himself 1.6 behind Aaron J, who got up to a great start.
Steel B looks to be closing back in, potentially onto the back of Gareth. Johnny Elliott trying to push up to the back of Reshka as well through the last corner. Reshka getting a little bit out of shape there, taking a bit too much curb. Manages to find the power anyway, is just ahead. Matty's getting a bit dicey with Delagny under DRS, not quite close enough to have a go this time around, but certainly looks as if he's going to be putting a bit more pressure on the man in the Red Bull.
A bit further back, Steel B got the move done on Gareth. The start finished straight with the DRS opening, so that was an easy overtake, and he got a better exit on the soft tyres. That will still be going a bit half a second quicker than the hards, so it's almost a second even. So he'll definitely be looking to make a gap to Gareth as his tyres will start to die out and struggle for grip.
Matty's actually found himself in the grass, getting a little bit out of shape there, unfortunately, coming out of turn 11, so that pushes Reshka right up to the back of him. Reshka not wanting to take the position off him just yet, by the looks of it, but it certainly brought him into play. He's going to be just out with DRS this time around, unless he managed to get there by the detection zone. Doesn't look as if he has, so Johnny Elliott will be pushing up to the back of Reshka. Again, not quite close enough, but oh, there's wing damage for Johnny Elliott. He's missed his braking point potentially, found himself in the back of Reshka, and yeah,
he lost it out of turn 12.
Is it going to flag
he must
up
have
a safety
taken
car?
a bit more grip than usual.
Does look it's only Nick J. Thompson, but the car is completely sprawled over the track. Hopefully the marshals can get that cleared before your race leader comes around. Jump on board with R&J just now to see if they do manage to get the Renault cleared. It is still currently sat on track, but no safety car just yet, as it is now cleared. Green flags are being waved and we're back under full race conditions, so bit of a strange one there, Jacob, lucky not to bring it out, but I'm sure the drivers that are on the harder compound will be a bit happy with that one, with the likes of Craig and Nick J as well as Jeffrey Henney wishing that it potentially did come out. But
yeah, a couple of guys losing position at the start from damage and having to pit early, and now finding themselves almost half a lap down on the leading pack or mid pack. So they would definitely be hoping for a safety car, maybe in a virtual safety car to go onto the hards.
Johnny Elliott elected not to pit despite having wing damage. Just managed to lose himself 2 positions in one corner as Johnny Elliott's now found the barrier. Wing damage is even more so now. All wheels still attached to the car. He's managed to get himself back onto track, as it does look as if he's now just retired on track. So very unfortunate. Car has pulled over to the side, so hopefully that doesn't spark a safety car, but we do have yellow flags in sector 1 until the car gets cleared. So jump on board with Beck 9000, who finds himself within half a second of Colin in that Mercedes.
Yeah, Colin getting a bit scrubby on the exit there, and Beck will be looking to go on the inside, as it easily should do with the DRS advantage. But Colin not giving up, staying on the outside, going side by side into turn 2. Still going side by side, and Beck now having the outside, as we have a Ferrari around us. Wojtek going from, I believe he was 3rd or 4th, all the way down to 6th now. And he has no front ring, so yet again
Absolutely
a Ferrari.
Gone. Guys obviously struggling here tonight, Jacob. There are a lot of front noses getting changed early on, so going to blow the F1 budget. Ferrari not shy of a few bob, but
looks to me like the drivers mostly are struggling with the exit of turn 3 and turn 12, and they can be quite tricky. Yeah, safety car. So let's bring the back runners back into the race, the likes of Nick, Craig and Jeffrey. So I'll definitely be happy about that.
Reschka struggling as well, finding the grass under safety car for some reason, and that's let Humblestone through, so not too sure what happened there, but looks as if Humblestone potentially got an illegal overtake, but 2 drivers trying to figure something out anyway. Does look as if our race leaders are pitting. Stay on board with the net race leader to see what tyres he does opt for. It's a set of hard boots or soft boots. The game won't quite tell me just yet. Looks to be another set of softs for Aaron.
And the mediums pitting.
Yeah. Aaron J selected a set of softs, so I think he knows that a set of hards won't realistically go to the end of the race from here, Jacob.
Nah, I think a little bit too slow at the end, so that's a nice strategy called by Aaron, and he might even think that another safety car will appear at some point.
He still managed to find himself within the front 2, but it does look as if the hailstone has actually jumped him in the pit lane. So out onto those hard tyres. Realistically, hard tyres can go to a maximum of 27 laps, so by the time that racing obviously does commence under safety car at the minute, it should only be 25 or 26, but you will come under immediate threat from those on the softer compound behind. However, it is only lap 9. We've seen plenty of safety cars already this week, and it wouldn't surprise me if we even seen some more tonight. So if not, I'm sure the hailstone might be laughing, as the rest of the cars around them on the softs and the mediums will more than likely, if not in fact definitely, need to pit again.
And interestingly enough, we have the likes of Gareth Humber and Matty yet to pit, so the likes of Kessa and Luke will definitely start to struggle as they find themselves behind the 2 guys, so a bit of traffic ahead, and they'll definitely be looking to get ahead as early as possible, as they won't get the race compromised.
So we will take another lap or 2 around Zandvoort under safety car as we wait for those who pitted early on with the likes of Craig and Nick. Jeffrey Henney opting to stay out, finding himself a little bit further up the pack despite pitting within the first couple of laps with wing damage. We'll have a little look to see your biggest mover so far, as you actually see Matty in the McLaren up to 3rd with 8 positions, Humberstone up into 5th making up 10 positions, and Gareth Hall up into 8th making 10 positions. Biggest losers that of Wojtek down 8, Jeffrey Henney down 6 and Nick J Thompson also down 8.
And Nick, no, not Nick, sorry, Aaron obviously being on the soft tyres in second place now, losing out in the pits to Hailstone, will definitely be looking to get ahead. As he is on way quicker tyres and a different strategy, obviously. So Hailstone will definitely try and hold him off as much as possible, and trying to get the softs to die early because of the dirty air, and on this track the dirty air can play a crucial part in staying behind, as it is very hard to follow the cars in sector 2, as it can be very tricky with the understeer car.
All the drivers have now caught up. The Hailstone becomes your de facto safety car. Stay on board with the man in the racing point. Does look as if he's shot off already. Might be a tad early as the safety car's not quite made it in just yet, but the Hailstone immediately coming under pressure. R&J managing to breeze past him on the straight, but Hailstone being just that tad braver on the brakes. Aaron's managed to squeeze him out wide, got round him turn 1, and already managed to work his way back up into the lead.
Yeah, the grip for those soft tyres
Nick J.
are
Thompson's
not even
round
comparable.
again. Jakob.
Nick finding an awful time into the first couple of turns here.
We've actually got Keza and Matty going side by side into the downhill right-hander, so looking pretty spicy on the race restart. The drivers a lot closer together, but Aaron already pulling a 1.6 second gap. Hailstone being a bit of a roadblock to those behind, but we did expect it. Softer compound, everybody else opting for those hards, trying to take them to the end.
And Aaron now into the lead, starting to pull a gap of looking like 2 seconds, so he'll definitely be looking to get his gap up to about 5 to 10 seconds and when pitting, and then I'm not sure if he's going to go on the softs or mediums. I don't think he can go into the softs at the end. I think the mediums will just about last. But interesting strategy call from Aaron, being in the lead and taking a bit of a gamble maybe.
Humberstone and Matty having a good little battle there into turn 1. Does seem as if the train starts here. Humberstone 1.6 seconds back and all the way down to 10th position. Everybody separated by less than a second, so Matty potentially looking to pit sooner rather than later off of those mediums, potentially hoping for another safety car to give him a cheap one, but yep, Nick J. Thompson pitting again, unfortunately, from 16th place. See what Nick decides to do, as he has put on a set of soft tyres by the looks of it. Aaron now finding himself 2.6 seconds adrift from the Hailstone in second. Beck close enough to Matty to almost have a look into the last corner there. So
as Luke is going to go side by side with Colin into turn 1, just about overtaking him, but the move isn't done yet, and Colin holding on around the outside of turn 1. But there, I believe, the traction of Luke will... Actually, it won't, and Luke will have the outside into turn 3, but Colin had the inside, and Luke will have to get squeezed out a bit and stay on for the next couple of turns and keep on the back of Colin, as he made a very good defensive move there.
Great driving there from Colin in the Mercedes to ensure that Luke
not giving up the position.
Behind. He's certainly now going to come under a bit of pressure now from the Ferrari of Wojtek behind on the softer compound, so Wojtek starting to look a little bit impatient, actually getting a bit of pressure from your man in the Haas, Jeffrey Henney. Beck 9000 Gareth now trading positions, as Beck's going to have another little look up the inside now into turn 12, decides a little bit better of it. Bit of a chain now behind this Mercedes as Matty's managed to break away from Gareth. Beck putting serious pressure now onto Gareth. DRS is going to open up from pretty much all of these guys in this chain. We've got a fantastic shot from a few moves that are potentially going to be happening, but it's Jeffrey Henney that's managing to squeeze his ways. We've got 2 cars, 4
Colin
cars,
losing
all
out to
side
Luke
by
Bailey
side.
on the exit of turn 1.
Not only that, Colin's potentially going to lose a few more as Wojtek manages to squeeze his way through also. It's actually going to be, is that Craig this time, that's found himself facing
Around at
the
turn
wrong
3.
way. Not sure if he's managed to get himself, he's managed to get himself back up to race pace, thankfully.
Looks to have no
Aaron J.
damage.
Thompson's potentially going to come round, and oh, Colin's round by the looks of it, or he's certainly picking up a lot of dust. It's Beck 9000, oh! And there's an incident on track. Jeffrey Henney and Colin now both finding themselves in the wall, both wings now lying in a heap at the side of the road. Yellow flag sector 2, both managing to get up and running once more.
Yeah, very unfortunate there. Looked to be one of the guys a bit further up, getting a bad exit and then forcing the other guys to avoid and then having to hit each other. Unfortunate.
Wojtek absolutely breezing past Luke Bailey before they even get to turn 1 this time around. Luke Bailey opting to potentially save a bit of ERS as sector 3, yellow flags. Again, looks like Jeffrey Henney struggling once more. A few drivers now pitting from the race. Wojtek trying to close up to the back of Matty, who'll be looking to pit within the next lap or 2. Colin's decided enough is enough, peeled into the pit lane and retired from tonight.
Unfortunate what happened to Colin there. He was having such a good race with his overtaking and defending on track. He looked to be enjoying himself. Very unfortunate that he got involved in such an incident, but things like that happen on these tracks.
Wojtek having a good look at Matty. He's going to be sent the long way around. Great driving from the two of them so far, showing great respect, but those soft tyres certainly coming into play for Wojtek in that Ferrari. Does look as if he might have actually just snuck into the DRS of Gareth for the detection zone. Matty's peeling in, he's going to pit. It should be a set of hard tyres for that man to get to the end. And it's Reshka that finds himself squeezing up to the back of Beck 9000 in that Renault now. Medium tyres coming into their own.
And a bit further up the field in third and second place we have Keza now managing to reel in a couple of tenths on Hailstone, and now being within the DRS looks to be getting a move on for P2.
Gareth doing well so far. Jakob finding himself in 5th. Wojtek squeezing up to the back. The change starts here. Trying to push up back to beside his teammate. He will need another stop though to get to the end of the race. Saying that, Gareth and Humberstone will need to do the exact same. Peels in. Gareth, not much defending that he can do. He's left him the space, but he's braver on the brakes. Wojtek unfortunately coming off second best here. Gareth might hold on now for another lap, but it's now Beck 9000 that's going to be pushing up.
Yeah, Gareth doing well on those hards while he hasn't pitted yet, so doing well to keep all of the guys behind on quicker tyres behind him, so very well done from Gareth, and some good defending here.
Aaron
looks
now
to be putting his
8
car
seconds
in the right
as well,
places.
Jacob.
Yeah, Aaron managing to pull a gap, but crucially whenever he pits he will lose a lot of positions. He will be on the faster tyre at the end, but he will have to make a lot of overtakes.
Crucially, as you said, Keza now starting his charge on the Hailstone. Red flashing light for recharge flashing on that racing point. Keza almost full of energy with full deployment at his
Just
disposal.
better traction out of the corner there.
just absolutely blitzed by around Tarzan, and it does look as if Kez
Impressive.
now been released and going to try and push on now to claw some of that lead off of Aaron, as Aaron will need to pit again, but coming out on potentially what, a fresh set of mediums towards the end. He's going to be lightning once more.
Yeah, he will most likely be putting on the mediums, as far as I can tell. And yeah, he will lose a couple of positions, but already from Austria and France we know that Aaron loves to do his overtaking here and there, and it wouldn't surprise me if he would overtake at least a handful of drivers.
As we've been on board with that battle, it does seem as if we've missed Wojtek getting past that of Gareth and his Mercedes, already pushing to over a 1.4 second gap. Now Gareth going to come under pressure for the second lap in a row with a little bit of a different view in those mirrors. It's bright yellow, it's Beck 9000. Went half the distance on the same set or same compound of tyres. Again, Gareth now going to opt to defend the inside line. Beck going to try and sweep it round outside, maybe not quite close enough just yet. Gareth going to hold on for another at least corner or two. Again, just inviting Luke Bailey and Reschka into the mix, as we've now got these four cars going to have a right good battle right up to hopefully the end of the race.
Yeah, Luke Bailey and Reschka yet again looks to be having a fight for positions, and they just love to fight them too, and that's what we love to see. A good and fair fight with respect for one another.
It's actually Luke Bailey's 30th consecutive race start tonight in PS4 F3, so let's hope that he can turn this into a good result.
At the moment he looks to be in P8, but Humbo and Gareth ahead are yet to pit, so he'll grab two positions and be looking to get a decent haul of points tonight. Well deserved from his qualifying, and now Gareth coming under huge pressure from Beck, trying to go around the outside, but Gareth just putting his car in all the right places there, and Beck nowhere to put his car really, and Gareth staying ahead for another lap.
Gareth, he likes to remind me that he doesn't practice too much, and is it Reschka? Reschka's found himself facing the wrong way around, and that's very unfortunate. Does have a bit of a gap now to his teammate. I don't know if he has picked up damage. Codemasters are doing nothing in the means of camera angles for me. He has at least lost an end plate, so it could be an earlier pit stop than expected for the man in the McLaren. But as you were saying, Luke Bailey, if he looks after these tyres, could find himself in a pretty strong position come the end of this race. A pit stop, full pit stop and time in the pit lane, setting you back just under 17 seconds, depending on how good your pit crew are. Could see the leaders potentially coming out beside them as yet.
Wojtek going into the pits as well on the softs.
Aaron on
Wojtek doing very well, going from 11th on the safety car restart all the way up to 5th, so well done from Wojtek, and as it looks like his strategy is paying off after he spun in turn 3.
Aaron's actually found himself coming out into 4th position, really not that far behind a podium position, Jakob, so fresh set of boots already right up the back of Humberstone in that. Williams will stay on board as yellow flag sector 1. It looks to be Craig again, really not having a good time through turn 3 and 4. I hope he can get himself back up and running this time around, and it does look as if Red Bull's almost spent their budget on front wings now.
Yeah, Craig having an awful time with turn 3, as it can be tricky, both the entry and the exit there. But Craig really struggling there tonight. Unfortunate, and not really what we want to see from Craig, as we want to see him battling for the podiums and the victories as we saw from last season.
Humberstone peels into the pits, gives R&J a little bit of clean air. laps. I'm sure he'll be looking to push up now to the back of Hailstone in the Racing Point P2. Reshka now losing a position to Wojtek, still not pitting despite having a bit of wing damage. Wojtek's managed to get through. Reshka with his teammate behind. I'm sure he won't be looking to hold up his teammate for too long.
And a bit further back it looks to be Delange, who was reeled in the couple of seconds he was behind Luke, and that must have been because of Luke battling with all the whole train. So now Delange looking for a battle finally for the race. It looks to, for me at least, it looks like he's had a bit of a lonely race, being at least 2 seconds behind or ahead of another car the whole race. So a battle for Delange and for a decent amount of points.
Nick J. Thompson finds himself in the pit box again. He's still going, Jakob, so fair play to him. Might be a record broken tonight after all. Craig was hunting down that of the podium record for F3, Ferocious Dan and Mike SI with 15 apiece. Craig on 14, he only needs one more to get there, but doesn't look as if it's going to be tonight. As
Delange just got ahead of Luke Bailey out of the exit of turn 3. He went for a move on the inside there. Well done by Delange, and now he finds himself 2.5 seconds behind Gareth in 5th, who is yet to pit on 23 laps old hard. He might even be looking to go to the softs at the end.
Beck 9000 also managing to get past Gareth Hall. Gareth trying to hold on to the coattails, make sure that he stays in DRS. Luke Bailey doing well despite losing the position to Delanier. He's still holding on to the Red Bull, so Luke Bailey without his partner in the other Alpha tonight, unfortunately serving a one race ban. Hopefully we see Simon Palmer back next week to try and aid towards their championship defence for constructors.
And as I've just had a look at the penalty situations from there, I'll be doing the top 6. It looks to be only Beck having a 3-second penalty, so it doesn't look like the penalty situation will. It looks like the winner on track will be the winner, the actual winner. So not any confusion at the end there.
There hasn't been many penalties flagging up this season. This race, or even this week, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, this track is a bit easier to avoid the invalidations and the penalties, but if you manage to get the invalidations, you can be quite harsh on the curbs.
Aaron already finding himself just out with DRS range within 2 laps. 4.8 seconds separated him from Hailstone in the Racing Point. It's just over 1.2 now. Absolutely flying on his fresh set of mediums. Keza trying to push on to try and bridge a bit of a gap to get away from the two behind. He's doing okay so far to hold back Hailstone, but if Aaron catches up and clears him quick enough, Keza's going to be coming under some real pressure as Gareth now opts to pit from those hard tyres onto a fresh set of soft. Should potentially see himself come out just before the second McLaren of Reshka. It's going to be tight on exit.
I'm not talking about Aaron. I'm not even sure if he will obviously be looking to go for the win here, but if he doesn't manage to clear Hailstone in the next couple of laps, even the next lap, I'm not even sure if he'll manage to go ahead of Kesa, who's doing really well in those hards, still managing to pull a gap
virtual
on
safety
Hailstone.
car. It
That's
does
a virtual
seem as
safety
if
car.
it's an Alpha Tauri that's found himself round. It's Nick J. Thompson has DNF from the race.
Aaron could actually do a free pit stop here on the softs with him finding himself 12.5 seconds ahead of Beck. As Hailstone pits, he'll be going to the softs, losing just the position to Aaron, I believe.
Depends how long the virtual safety car does stay out for. Does look as if Beck 9000 is going to be coming up to the start finish line now. It's going to be close.
As Kesa just got a drive-through penalty, that's so unfortunate for our leading driver tonight. he was doing such a good job, and then just find it hard time following the delta of the virtual safety car.
Yeah, the man, the Ferrari, potentially just handing R&J tonight's race victory. There's still 10 laps to go and still plenty that could happen, but in the next few laps Keza is going to have to come in and serve that drive-through penalty. Will find himself come out somewhere round about Delaney and Luke Bailey. We'll keep an eye on that one. Obviously won't be able to change his tyres, it is a drive-through, 16 laps on those hards. Similar to that, can still find himself hopefully finish within the top 6. His teammate Wojtek on a fresh set of mediums is trying to close the gap to Humberstone in the Williams. We're on board with Luke Bailey at the minute, still managing to hold on to Delaney in that Red Bull. Does seem as if this is our closest battle on track at the minute. We'll stay on board with Luke Bailey.
Yeah, Delaney doing really good. Started in 16th, I believe, and now up in 5th, battling for 5th position now with Luke, who, as you said, has managed to hold on to Delaney, and this looks to be a battle all the way to the end.
Delaney looking to be managing his energy just that little bit better than Luke. Luke's obviously got DRS at his disposal as long as he doesn't make any big mistakes and drop out of that 1 second window. Hailstone on those softs is now going to try and push up to the back of Beck 9000. He's in DRS. Sure, if he gets a good enough exit out of the last corner, he could potentially have a look at the Renault into turn 1. So stay on board with the Hailstone just now, see how good an exit he can get. It's Jeffrey Henney and Steel B are pretty close to each other in 12th and 13th position. Both 11 laps on each tyres, mediums and hards for each as well. Jeffrey on the mediums, we'll see if he can potentially be let through. Bet 9000 potentially going to hold on to the final podium spot for one more lap. Doesn't look as if the Hailstone's going to be quite close enough to have a look this time around, but patience, my boy, it will come, especially towards the last few laps. Bet 9000 potentially even going to have to pit again unless he's really careful. Can't afford to push too hard, he needs to look after them. Aaron not managing to close the gap too much more to Keza in front. The gap's at 2.8, has been for a little bit, so we'll keep monitoring that, see if it comes down at all. Gareth doing pretty well, fresh set of boots for him, 2.6 seconds adrift from 9th all the way up from 18th.
Yeah, he's done very well tonight. His strategy looks to be, he looks to be on the right strategy, and finding himself with the points. He will maybe even be battling the guys further a bit like Matty and Wojtek, with him being on the pretty new soft tire. So there's definitely still a couple of seconds to be gained to the drivers ahead of him.
Keza now comes in to serve that drive-through penalty, and exactly as we expect, he is going to find himself coming out. Oh, he's still in second actually, so he's done not too bad. Forgot that he didn't actually need to pull into the pit box, so not losing as much time as you would expect, but unfortunately on his turn, on the final turn, he has picked up a 3-second penalty, so coming off not as bad as we expected. Jakob still finding himself within touching distance of a podium position here.
Yeah, definitely still 5 seconds ahead of Beck with Keza picking up the 3-second penalty. I don't think that would bother him too much, as he probably will know of Beck having a 3-second penalty as well, so they're even now, and the driver ahead on track will be going to get P2, and I don't think they will be challenging Aaron on the medium tyres, as he looks to be in a league of his own tonight.
Beck doing very well to hold off that of the Hailstone behind on the softs. Beck always been showing pretty good race pace, just some unfortunate finishes with no points the first week and a DSQ the second week. I think it was for picking up too many penalties potentially, so coming under a bit of pressure but dealing with it well.
Definitely Hailstone finding difficult time going ahead of Beck, as you get a good exit out of turn 3 actually now, going side by side into turn 6 and 7. Hailstone having the inside, but as he spins around, that's so unfortunate, but he manages to keep the car alive and avoid damage. Beck just looked to stay on the outside, not enough room for two guys there.
Yeah, very unfortunate there for him in the racing point, but the battle for 5th does, well, I didn't jinx it, Jacob, before you say anything. Humblestone went before I managed to get my words out. He was pushing up to the back of Luke Bailey and Delany, but he finds himself losing it coming into turn 8, so gives Luke Bailey a bit more breathing room to sit on the coattails of Delany, as I'm sure Wojtek will look to push up within the last 5 laps here. R&J with a 9-second gap to that of Keza. Beck now with a 4.3 second lead to the Hailstone, so no commotions
and Gareth
here.
finding himself behind Mattia in 9th and 8th. He'll be going around the outside, having the DRS as he's already head into the braking zone. Nice and easy move there on the soft tyre versus the hard. So Gareth into 8th now, going from 10th into 8th after the Humberstone spin.
They really are. He's doing very, very well. Wojtek potentially a little bit quicker, only 9 laps on those mediums just now, but Gareth will do everything he can over the course of the 5 laps. He'll need to pull a second a lap out over the man in the Ferrari, as Reska and Jeffrey Henney are now swapping positions. Still going side by side through turn 3 and 4. Jeffrey giving Reska a right old squeeze. Reska having to back out of that one to avoid picking up any more damage, but the chase will continue. I'm sure Reska thinks about it into turn 7 and decides better of it. Big lock up for Reska there into turn 9. That's not going to do his front tyres.
Wojtek now getting a good exit on Luke, going side by side in the start finish straight, going ahead of Luke into the braking zone now. I'm not sure what happened to Luke there. He must have had a poor exit, and Wojtek taking full advantage of that, now all over the back of the Lange now, going into turn 3.
Yep, thanks for the call, Jacob. Does look as if Wojtek actually managed to press up to the back of the two of them pretty quickly. I didn't expect it to happen that early on, but already the two of them, Delany needing to use a bit more of that energy to try and push a bit harder from the man on the fresher tyres. So Luke Bailey now being dropped just slightly. Hopefully stay within that DRS range towards the end of the lap. Again, Humblestone now looking to push up to the back of Matty in the McLaren for 9th position. Reska falling a bit further back from Jeffrey Henney after a couple of lockups through sectors 2 and 3. Wojtek could even be close enough to have a look at Delany this lap as well. Jacob?
Yeah, Wojtek getting a good exit here. Will use the DRS and go on the inside there of Delany, using all of his ERS there. And then ahead of him, ahead of the braking zone, so nice and easy overtake there for Wojtek, all the way up in 5th now, having to overtake Luke Bailey on the last lap, and now Delany on the start finish straight this lap. Looks to be the prime overtaking spot.
Looks as if Reska potentially got himself into another spotty baller. 5.5 seconds adrift now from Jeffrey Henney. Despite being on those soft tyres, it's not been the greatest of race for the man in the McLaren. Matty coming off a little bit better, finding himself in 9th, but have a little look with no pit stops expected to take place between now and the remainder of the race. Biggest movers are Delany in 6th position and Gareth in 8th, both up 10 positions respectively. Not having a great time is Jeffrey Henney and Steel B, both Hassies down 5 and 3 positions. Also the worst race overall, those that have unfortunately retired from this race. So R&J now 10 seconds worth of a lead. 3 guys out front just looking after their tyres now, trying to make it towards the end. We'll see if the Hailstone can try and close back up to the back of Beck 9000. Only 7 laps on those softs. Beck obviously having to look after those hards. Might be quite close as Humblestone and Matty are now having a battle into turn 1, still running side by side through turn 3. Space where space is due on turn 4, great driving from the two of them. Humblestone going to try for the switch back, not quite close enough. Matty managing to actually get the better of the car behind now, despite being on the harder compound with more wear on them, but Humblestone's going to try and hold on to him. Luke Bailey potentially looks the closest to Delany he's been over this final stint, so
yeah, Delany looks to be out of the DRS now, and Luke in the DRS is the Delany, so we'll definitely gain a couple of tenths each lap and then get closer as the laps go by, but we are on the second to last lap, so he'll have to get his move on, and yeah, from now on to the finish, he has 1 or 2 attempts left, so he'll have to make up that overtaking opportunity and save up some ERS.
Humblestone still holding on to Matty now through sector 1. See if we can try and claw that position back, as it does seem as if a little bit of movement might come from those due to penalties. The Hailstone not managing to push up to the back of Beck 9000 quite as much as he would have wanted, I'm sure. But nonetheless, R&J will start the final lap of the race with quite a considerable gap to that of Keza in the Ferrari. All he needs to do is bring it home, and he will secure not only his 3rd podium of the season, but his 2nd race win in a row. Battle on track and topic of discussion is Delany and Luke Bailey. Luke Bailey with no time left to make his move. It needs to be soon if he's going to get it done, because Gareth Hall in that Mercedes looks to be charging at a rate of knots, and it's Humblestone and Matty that are going to be trading positions yet again for the final points positions of the race.
So it looks to be the only 2 battles going on.
Yep.
Matty and Humbo for the last couple of points, and then Luke managing to clinch onto the Delany for the last couple of laps, and will maybe line up an overtaking attempt out of the last corner.
Well, he hasn't seen the screen much tonight either, Jacob. I'm sure he's going to be cursing us in the podium interviews. He's coming to the line. R&J, as we said, 2nd race win in a row. Must be happy with that one, as Kezer's now going to come around and take P2. Beck 9000 going to be too far back to capitalise on any penalties from the cars in front. The Hailstone, a very respectable P4. He actually jumps Beck 9000 and takes the final podium position from him. So Wojtek followed by Delany. Luke Bailey not going to be quite close enough to get the move done, but doesn't snatch it on penalties either. Gareth Hall's going to be next to come across the line in P8. Humblestone further 4.5 seconds back, and your final points position is going to go to Matty. So is there anybody that's going to manage to challenge this man in the Alpha Tauri, Jacob?
That's a very tough question, but from tonight it looks to be Kesa, who was pretty much on par with Aaron's pace, just unfortunate with the drive-through from the virtual safety car. But Aaron on the mission, and back-to-back wins looks to be the man to beat this season.
Well, as we see the podium celebrations, it's that man on the top step yet again, picking up the biggest trophy. R&J, the man to beat, as he gives us the good old Lando Norris champagne smack off the podium. I'm sure we'll be able to hear his smile when he joins us for the interviews. And just to confirm it, here are your race classifications. Again, guys, not only has Aaron managed to snatch pole tonight, it's a flawless race, fastest lap an extra stop in comparison to the majority of his competitors, and the race victory. First position, top step, Keza takes second, the Hailstone takes third with a very respectable drive. Beck 9000 probably kicking himself for that penalty. He's P4, Wojtek P5, Delaney with a cracking drive from P16 in P6, Luke Bailey 7th, Gareth Hall 8th, Humberstone in 9th, Matt 8 in 10th, Jeffrey Henney in 11th, Reshka takes 12th, a lap down, followed by Steel B, Craig, and your DNFs of the evening, Nick J Thompson, Colin, Johnny Elliott and Andrew Lockdock. So as the drivers join us for the post-race interviews, just a quick reminder to check us out throughout the rest of the week for the rest of the week's racing. The week's not over just yet. We still have PS4's Performance League tomorrow night at 8 PM on YouTube with Malk and Tim. And then racing will commence next week again from Sunday with Xbox F1. So just double check to make sure that we have all drivers now in the commentary box, which I believe we do. If you don't mind, guys, just double checking. I know it's coming pretty common for you, Aaron, but just double check with your sharing settings that you do have your voice set to allowed to be shared. If you don't know how to do it, push your share button on your controller or wheel, go down to audio sharing settings and make sure that your voice is set to always allow. Now, with Aaron finding himself in the commentary box for the third week in a row, I'm sure he'll already have his boxes ticked and his settings ready to go.
Yep.
Again, Aaron, you're going to hate it watching the stream back. Not much airtime yet again. Flawless. It's pole. It's fastest lap. Your second race victory and your third podium 3 rounds into the season. How do you feel your race went tonight?
Pretty well. I thought I took a gamble going on to the 2-stop. I'd done it in a practice race the other night and it worked due to other people getting penalties, but as soon as the safety car came, I was like, I've got to try something. I wasn't comfortable going onto the hards, so as soon as it came in, I was like, I'll just go onto soft, try to pull a bit of a gap, but then I had to get past Hailstone because he jumped me in the pits, so that kind of got under my skin. As soon as I got past him, I just tried to manage the gap. Knew I'd be quicker at the end of the race on the mediums than them and just try and get it from there.
Yeah, and Aaron, as you said, you gambled on the 2-stop today. How did you find on your second stint that you were behind Kesa for a while and seemed to be only a couple of tenths faster? Were you certain you were going to pass him there, or were you maybe thinking of another safety car?
No, it sounds a bit fit. I knew I'd have the pace. I was just making sure I wouldn't run out of tyres at the end. Because I noticed the other day when I done the alternate soft, medium, soft, my soft started to run out at the end. So I changed it up, went to soft, soft, medium, just to make sure I had enough life left in the tyres to manage to take him at the end.
Yeah, you must have been confused when he got into the pits.
Yeah, obviously I was in a party with a couple of others, and Colin, who retired, he was keeping an eye out for me, and he said he's got a drive-through penalty, and I was like, oh, breathing space. No stress. But other than that, it was a good race.
Now, I don't think we really need to confirm yet again, Aaron. It's pretty obvious that you are a solid contender for the Drivers' Championship this season. I mean, although you look to be in a league of your own tonight, and you certainly excelled last week, out of the guys that are on the track with you in PS4 F3, who do you think could mount the biggest challenge for the silverware at the end of the season for you?
That's a tough one. I think everyone in this league could have a race where they're flying. It's so tight qualifying. Or I nailed my lap tonight, so it looked a bit more comfortable than what it was. But the league's so tight. One mistake and I could drop 15 points and I'm in trouble. So everyone, these 2 guys on the podium were rapid. Obviously you got Beck, Andrew Lockdock, my teammate. Anyone could be in it. I think everyone stood in with a chance.
Very kind words there for your competitors, buddy. Congratulations again. I'm sure this
Cheers.
isn't going to be the last time we'll see you on the podium. It's up to you if you want to stick around. You're more than welcome to shoot off, but well done.
Cheers, mate.
And our attention turns to Keza. How you doing?
Alright. Yeah, it was a pretty lonely race, to be honest. Yeah, I got a good qualifying, and that set us up for the race, really. But I was devastated to see me teammate go.
That's it, mate. I mean, you must be kicking yourself with the drive-through penalty, the fact that you were leading the race. Although Aaron was charging down at a rate of knots, you potentially could have put up a bit more of a fight if you didn't have to serve that. Do you think that potentially cost you tonight, or do you think it was inevitable for Aaron to get through?
Well, it cost us, but I think he had too much pace on their mediums. They were pretty fresh, and my hards were going off at the end, so I lost a bit of pace, but still been a bit consistent. I'm pretty chilled about that. I was only the hairpin on 1,000 off, went over the line, so yeah, that. But main credit where it's due. Aaron was right at the day. Boost up.
Yeah, Kessa, you had a pretty good race tonight, and you showed some very good pace on your second stint on the hards, getting a couple of overtakes in. And I'm not sure if we caught it on a stream, but what happened to your teammate into turn 3? It looks to be you were maybe fighting for position a bit, and we just saw your teammate spun around.
Yeah, I think he went and lost it. I think he got in the power too early from clipping the curb. Lost it, went straight in the wall, which is devastating, but it happens, doesn't it? So yeah, devastating for him, but.
So are you as a team working together, or are you just driving by yourself?
Yeah, I think with us two having I think he got a 5th in the race, I think. So yeah, we could put up a good challenge for the constructors this year.
Well, congratulations again, Keza. Hopefully it's not the last time we hear your voice in the commentary box either on the podium, so enjoy your celebration. Get some practice in for next week. I'm sure Aaron will be looking forward to the challenge, as you certainly had the pace tonight, but well done.
Cheers.
Welcome. And now we speak to the Hailstone. How you doing?
Yeah, very well, thank you, very well.
P3 tonight, matching the 2-stop of Aaron as well. Pretty decent qualifying lap. Does seem as if the Ferrari boys have had an okay qualifying so far this season. I mean, sorry, Racing Point, apologies, that's my fault. But yeah, no, certainly look pacey. Again, could potentially be seeing yourself as a contender for the Drivers' Championship. A few battles tonight as well. Is there anybody particularly that you enjoyed battling with the most tonight?
It was a tricky one tonight. I don't think, to be fair, I come into the race tonight not expecting to be looking at the pace of the other leagues that have, over the last couple of days. I thought my pace was going to be midfield at best, but my quality lap was decent. Annoyingly, I think I was up on Aaron slightly before I bottled it on my last lap and put it into the wall in the penultimate corner. But I think these lads are quick, and their consistency today, I think, took them over anything I had, any fight that I would have been able to give them.
Yeah, Hailstone, you managed to jump back on penalties at the end there, and we caught up on you having a bit of scrap and battle with him into turn 7, I believe. Can you take us through what happened there?
Yeah, it was obviously we had the safety car in which I managed to jump Aaron somehow. I don't know if he got held up by another car, but having to be honest with you, never led behind a safety car, so I think knowing that, I just misjudged the pace slightly for the safety car coming in, and Aaron literally just went straight past me on the line, and that was it. But then with Beck, I pitted under the virtual safety car because I thought these hards might not go to the end, so I put on the softs and thought, why not? We'll roll the dice. Keza's pace on the hards was way better than mine. And Beck got through. And frustratingly, the corners before the straights, he was getting great exits on those hard tyres, even though they were 20 plus laps old. So the only corner I was kind of getting better grip out of seemed to be turn 3. Out of turn 3. And I thought, right, we'll go side by side, be around side by side, and then just going up to 7. Looking at it now, I've luckily kind of managed to close the gap. It could be a racing incident, we were side by side, but at the time I thought possibly the door was closed on me a little bit. I there was nowhere else for me to go, but there was nowhere for him to go. So luckily the incident wasn't race ending, and I was very much scenario 7 it for the last 10 laps to get that gap back to 3 seconds, which I knew he had.
Regardless, congrats on your first podium this season, and well done.
Cheers, thank you very much. Cheers, guys.
Yeah, well done to everybody on the podium tonight, as well as the entire race, all the race finishers. That's going to be it for us tonight, guys. Yeah, anything else to add, Jacob, before we round off?
No, we had an exciting race tonight with a lot of overtakes and very few penalties. A lot of battles as we've had all 3 rounds now. So yeah, the field just keeps surprising me and getting better and better race by race.
Now, as we said, guys, Invictus Racing League's week is not finished just yet. Make sure you tune in tomorrow to see the PS4 Performance League at 8 PM with Milk and Tim on the YouTube channel. And then starting Sunday, we are cross-continent to the Shanghai International Circuit. We're all the way to China. Starting on Sunday night, Xbox F1 commences at 9 PM on the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Invictus Racing League, hosted by Dan and Luke. Closely followed on the Monday by PS4 F1 at 8 PM on the YouTube channel, hosted by Gareth and Sab. Tuesday, PS4 F2 at 8 PM on YouTube with Harry and Charlie. Closely followed on the same night by Xbox F2 at 9 PM on the Twitch channel. We do have a new commentator there. His name is Thomas. And then you're back with myself and Jacob here for PS4 F3, running parallel to PS4 F4 with Jake Warrior. And then obviously PC F1 is raced at 8 PM, hopefully due to announce the commentary team soon enough. It does start at 8 PM. Looking forward to having the new platform streamed live to you, alongside myself and Jacob and Jake Warrior for F3 and F4 on PlayStation. But that's going to do us for this week, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. We'll see you next week.